Good things comes to those who believe. Better things come to those who are patient. And best things come to those who don't give up. A very good morning. Heart with a warm smile, I welcome our chief guest and everyone to this national seminar on the topic Digital Transformation in Education. A quality education prepares children to be active and caring world citizens in an ever-changing and diverse society. This means giving them the academic thinking and life skills needed to succeed and flourish. This is achieved by providing high-quality teaching, which encourages self-directed and self-motivated learning, as well as a broad, relevant curriculum and aspirational expectation. With the aim of providing platform to acquire quality education through available digital platforms during this pandemic, the theme for the seminar has been fixed on the topic Digital Transformation in Education. Let us try to derive maximum inputs through the three eminent speakers we have invited. Walk with God when your heart needs company. Turn to God when you needed someone to learn. Take his hands when you feel alone. He is there when you need him the most. Never give up, never back down, never lose faith. Trust God, he can do the impossible. Now let us join Anisha of 3rd BCom to invert God's blessings.
When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Are you ever burdened with the load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done.
Thank you, Anisha. A warm welcome would be enchanting to the heart. A wearer of smile and the better of kindly disposition needs no introduction, but is a welcome anywhere. Now, I request Dr. A. Elizabeth, Assistant Professor from the Department of Commerce, to welcome the guest of honor and gathering.
Rejoice evermore. Pray without ceasing. In everything give thanks. For this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 to 18. A warm and pleasant morning to everyone gathered here with a strong hope of enhancing knowledge and experience, which is a prerequisite for this challenging and ever-changing environment. It is with great joy and pleasure I welcome you to this online learning platform for the national seminar on the title Digital Transformation in Education, which is the need of the hour. Great things happen when there is a gathering of great minds. With the blessings of Almighty, I would like to join hands to extend a gracious welcome to our esteemed resource persons, Mr. K.G.RAMAKRISHNA Murthy, Professor Christopher, Devakumar, and Mrs. FATIMA Majella Philip, and all dignitaries, guests, delegates from my own home institution and from other institutions. At the outset, with great joy and immense exultation, I would like to introduce you the theme for the seminar. The outbreak of COVID-19 has led to multiple challenges in all areas of our lives, including education. Recent numbers shows that more than 27 crore children have been negatively impacted due to the school closure and that the number of out of school children is likely to be double as per UNICEF estimate. For foundational years, this could lead to learning loss, disrupting educational opportunities which spans a lifetime. Globally, an estimated loss of $10 trillion is accounted to learning loss due to the pandemic. In the present day scenario, with our educational institutions closed, it was critical now more than ever to reach students from vulnerable backgrounds and ensure that they had access to educational resources. Digital learning has also seen a surge among households that have access to smartphones and the internet. However, it is unclear whether these efforts have led to an increase in the learning outcomes. COVID 19 has challenged and changed the traditional classroom learning pattern and proved that learning is possible from anywhere. The pandemic has fast tracked the digital transformation in the education sector, and it is important for students and educators to inculcate these changes and stay at par with the changing times. There needs to be a greater openness for the use of technology and devices both in the teaching and learning processes. Keeping in mind the theme for the seminar is being fixed. I am profoundly elated to take an opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the first session of the seminar, Mr. K.G. Ramakrishna Murthy. Mr. K.G. Ramakrishna Murthy of Coimbatore was elected to serve a 2-year term, that's from 2006 to 2008, as a director of the International Association of Lions Club at the association's 89th International Convention held in Boston, USA between June 30th and July 4th, 2006. He is an insurance consultant, a member of the Madras Metro East Lions Club and Lions since 1984. He has held many offices within the association, including club president, region chair, cabinet secretary, council chair, district governor. Additionally, he has served as district extension chair, district leadership chair, multiple district site first chair, and area impact team leader. In recognition of his tireless services to the association, he has received numerous awards, including the 100% District Governors Award, Membership Growth Award, Extension Award, LCIF Chairperson Certificate, 16 International President Certificates of Appreciation, 6 International Presidents Awards, and 6 International Presidents Leadership Awards. He is also a Progressive Melvin Jones Fellow. In addition to his Lions activities, Sir is active in numerous professional and community organizations. He is a life patron of YMCA and life member of the Association of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. He is a member of the Coimbatore Blood Donors Association, Red Cross Society of India and Coimbatore, Sri Ayyappa Seva Sangh. We are indeed highly privileged to have such an eminent person amongst us. I extend my gracious welcome to you, sir. I warmly welcome our most respected secretary, Reverend Dr. Sister Ruby Alankara Mary, who always stand by us in what we do and encourages all our activities. I welcome you, sister. It is with great pride I welcome our principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Helen, who guides and supports us in all our academic and non-academic endeavors. Her meticulous planning, keen interest shown in proper execution of activities is highly commendable. On behalf of the department, I welcome you, sister. I have great pleasure in welcoming our dear Vice Principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Mary Fabiola, Controller of Examinations, Reverend Sister Dr. Imelda Mary, Dean of Academics, Mrs. J. Valencia Kamal, Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. U. Mary, and IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Pauline Vasanthi Joseph, for this national seminar. With deep gratitude, I welcome the head and faculty members of NIRMALA and other colleges for your gracious presence and support for this seminar. I extend a hearty welcome to students of NIRMALA College and other institutions who have responded to our invitation and be a part of this program, and wish you all a fruitful day. Your active and enthusiastic participation will enthuse us. Once again, I welcome one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. A man is a great as the truth he speaks, as great as the life he lives. It is the province of knowledge to speak, but the privilege of wisdom to listen. May I request the chief guest, Mr. K.G. Ramakrishna, past international director, the International Association of Lions Club, to share his thoughts with us on the title Building a Holistic and Empathetic Educational Environment.
First of all, thank you, Donna, for that invitation and inviting me to speak on that very important subject, in my opinion. And I'm extremely thankful to you for inviting me. I'm as thankful to Professor Elizabeth for introducing me in an exhaustive manner. I'm unable to understand whether I fit to those kind of felicitations or not, but I try to live to the expectation. I must thank at this point of time our own dear daughter, Lima, who wanted me to be here today to address you on this specific subject. Having been closely associated with that family, I think she has thought that I should be one of the speakers today. I was thinking for myself whether where I fit into this subject, where I fit into this occasion, because I am not an educationalist and I don't teach in any classes. I am no longer, I'm a student, of course. Anybody is a student till their death. But looking at the philosophy, I was asking myself where we fit in. The program of digital transformation is the need of the hour. Just now, Madam Elizabeth has said, it is not only the need of the hour, it is the future too, because it might have happened because of the situation. But if you look at the scenario of the whole world, it is necessary sometimes later, even without the pandemic, we people may not be in a position to travel from place to place or invite persons from elsewhere to speak or to discuss or to exchange our views. So looking at the scenario, the situation of speaking through the virtual platform, the scenario of opening up the digital transformation in education or anything for that matter. Even in the medical field, we are seeing so many things are happening through virtual platform. So looking at that scenario, we do appreciate the what do you call the correspondent and the members of the NIRMALA College who are running the institution for taking it forward like this. This is my fourth time addressing at the NIRMALA College students. I had 3 occasions before, once for opening up a Leo club and one time for the commerce, one time for a blood donor, some service activities I have come. I have seen the sisters too. I do not want to waste the time because already my time is exhausted by 25 minutes. I have literally 40 minutes now because I do not want to barge into the next speaker's timing. I will close up my speech. I assure you that I will close up my speech by 10 o'clock as it has been given to me, the schedule. Building a holistic and empathetic educational environment. I was taken aback when I saw this heading because building a holistic and empathetic education environment means we don't have that holistic and empathetic education. That means we have to build now. The nomenclature says so, even if it was there, that means it is not there now, or it is reduced to the maximum extent. So we have to relook at the situation prevailing now and take it forward to build that situation which is needed. In my opinion, the slogan what you have given in your college is apt for this situation. Marching with hope during the year 2021 and 22, either department slogan or college slogan, I do not know. But I appreciate the person who has selected, coined this word, because marching with hope, without hope we can't do anything. Either it is pandemic situation or normal situation. With a hope only we can march forward. But by building a holistic and empathetic education program, in my opinion, I would say that we can march with confidence. so that the 2022-23 slogan, if you coin, marching with confidence, will be an apt one after making this program successful. I do not want to go back to all naming out all the sisters who are present over there, because I respect them a lot. I have been with the diocese many times in very many angles. I have seen people working towards the community. Hats off to every one of you who are present and who are unable to be present. My appreciations are to the department president, Jansi and Priyadarshini and KCL for organizing this program. More importantly, I must thank again and again Lima for inviting me, Rosaline. I must also compliment the two speakers after me, Christopher and Fatima, and I am sure they will give you the in-depth of the subject so that you will be able to collect the whole thing and take it forward in your personal life. Friends, when we speak about holistic and ethical, I would empathetic education, I would rather say every human being should possess this quality. It is not an education. It is an imbibed quality of every individual who should have this quality of having empathy towards others and having a holistic feeling within ourselves. Holistic feeling means it gives a total clarity of yourself, oneself. We must read ourselves. Holistic comes from within and empathy comes from within to others. So when you look at your perspective, the good and bad what we see around the world today, it's all linked to the education from the childhood. Whatever we do at home, it reflects through the child. When the children goes up, when the children goes out, they will intimate whatever has happened at home. So more than the school and the colleges, more than outside, the education starts at home. Because holistic education do not have a curriculum. It cannot have a curriculum, in fact, in my opinion, in my experience. I have a family of more than 20 teachers. I have seen their teaching systems. My grandfather was a great Englishman in what do you call the in English teaching. So when he was talking, I used to watch many things. He looks at the student first. He says, you must teach the language. He says the language means the what do you call the terminology, however you put. You must understand the student first and then teach. Do not put hard words into your subjects so that students may not be in a position to understand. He used to correlate the stories so that the people will be able to understand much better than the textbook. So that's what he was talking many times, and my uncle, my aunt, many people are teachers. So it was in those days. Now nobody, because they are all old people, they have passed away. I was a student. I used to listen to my teachers in my own life. I used to go to their home. I used to work with them. Saturdays and Sundays, we spend our time in our teachers' home. Now we hardly find our teachers, hardly find the students who stay at the schools and colleges even during the working hours and even the evenings. Where it starts? It all starts from the home. The holistic principle itself is lost, in my opinion, sorry to say, because nobody seems to be perfect. Nobody wants to be clean. Nobody wants to be God-fearing, whatever religion they belong to. Nobody seems to be social-fearing. That means when we go out of the society, what people will think about our personality, about our behavior, all those things have gone. People feel whatever they feel is right. So there is nobody to teach them. They do not want anyone to teach. They want to go ahead on their own. Whatever they wish, whatever they feel. Holiness is something beyond our personality. Persona is a mask what we wear. When we go outside, we try to act to suit to the needs. When people want something, we act as if we are they like us. But holistic is something is that when it's a quality. It should come within. Whether they are in front of someone, whether they are alone, their feelings must be very clean, their thinking must be very clean, and they should be in a position to perform the duties to the best of their knowledge, which will be benefiting to the society, benefiting to themselves. We are seeing now, I am not in agreement with the Right of Education Act and Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan program and all, because it's a compelled programs. We are making people putting under compulsion for studying. It should come within, in spite of the development so much. Our country still, I would rather say that more than 50% is illiterate. It's shameful on our part that we have not taken the what do you call the education system forward, so that more than 80% people will be literate. But when I went into the statistics all over the world, even in US or in any of the developed countries, the illiterate percentage is growing. Even today, at this point of time, I don't think that literate percentage is growing. Look at our country. The great laurels, the literates are born in this country. So many systems have been brought in. When we say holistic education, immediately people will turn and say, but the Gurukul life. No. Gurukul is something different. It's a curriculum-based education. Holistic education is something that it should come within, because channelizing the character of individual is the holistic education, in my opinion. So, realizing ourselves, creating confidence, putting people on the track, making them to understand what kind of situation they live in, and not teaching them, the realizing them, making them to realize the situation, facing any challenges. That is the holistic education or a holistic life. When a student comes into the class, we will see different type of students. Sometimes we have seen even arrogant students also, I would rather say, because they don't like others. Because something happened at home, they will bring that agony to the classroom. Something happens on the road, they will bring that agony to the classroom. You must always have, as a students or a teachers, a detached attachment life. Detached from the other things happening when we come into the classroom. Detached from the classroom when we go home. Detached from the home when we come outside. So we must leave the problems then and there, accept the reality. Make yourself as a perfect individual. In most of the cases, there is no guide to develop this philosophy. At home, in front of the children, we fight. The husband and wife fight. In front of the children only, we talk unwanted things to the outsiders. When someone comes, even with our own children, we will say that, hey, father is not there. You go and tell father is not there. He has gone outside. These are all the qualities which will create a non-holistic education within oneself. So we must be very careful when we talk about holistic education, or when we talk about empathetic education. It starts from the home again and again. When the teachers come there, even teachers also, I would request that we must have that, we must develop that holistic principles within ourselves. We must also make our students to develop their holistic systems. The fighting between people do not care for others. The rich people not caring for poor students looking at the rich students as if they have come from the heaven without understanding the reality. All these things are some of the individual qualities where we only put ourselves down, and the children who are in the less fortunate family or a poor family, I don't call it as a poor family, less earned parents' family. So those kind of children, look at the people, suppose some politician comes, they come in a big car, get down in that and go. The poor people come in the ordinary dress. That's why the uniform system has been brought in by Kamaraj, who is standing behind me in that photograph. Who brought that uniformity in the uniform, so that rich and poor is eliminated. The big and weak is eliminated, so that by the uniform they look similar. So these kind of things will make people come together. To have an empathetic feeling, the one must have a holistic sense of coming towards the persons. They should not keep away from themselves. They cannot be shy. They should not be shy. In fact, they must be, sociable. They must be in a position to extend their hands, put their legs forward for others. Then only the empathetic feeling will come. So empathy comes from the holistic. Now comes the holistic education. I don't know, because I'm not an educationalist, whether we can have a program for a holistic education. Holistic is a quality. Quality cannot be described in words, or we cannot create what you call a program to develop that holy, because that comes within. Sometimes it is a hereditary also. It should be a xenological thinking, because holistic and also empathetic are interrelated. In my opinion, holistic comes from within ourselves, I said, and that empathy comes for outsiders, because it's the feeling we let out. Holistic is a feeling what we have, the quality we have. The quality should be demonstrated. It is always said, it is not important how much you know. It is highly important how you execute what you know. Knowing is a holistic, executing is an empathetic. So empathetic way of living itself is a philosophy. Itself is it's a something, an art. In fact, I will say, most of the people say that they live. How do they live? They live with a rich atmosphere, with money, with the car, but there is no sleep. Does it mean that they are living a good life? No. A happy life is totally different. Happy life is one should be good, one should be honest, one should be modest, one should be very systematic, one should not have ill feeling towards others, and however he want to be treated by others, he should treat others. All these things are the holistic things what we have. Teachers can create that, because when I said it starts from the home, it is similar at the school also. From the first standard or the pre-KG, whenever teachers teach something, they must also imbibe this kind of qualities, that you should be perfect, you should be like this, you should be like this, so that they will be able to take it as a guidance to march forward. For that, what is most important? We must be perfect again. The situation alarms now, not only the pandemic situation, the whole world living style doesn't allow us to be a perfect person. But we will try to be a perfect person at least, because we are talking about building a next generation. We are not talking about building an education. When we build an education, that means we are taking to the next generation. In one of the what do you call the statements I have read, a philosopher who says, if a country want to be good, if a country want to be prosperous, if a country want to be strong, then what is the number one quality is education, education, and education. Without education, nothing can move. In that education, it starts from the birth. The moment the child born, the parents educate them. Who is the father? Who is the mother? Who is the uncle? What is the relationship? What is the family? How you should eat? How you should speak? Everything is being taught by the parents. They are the first teachers. Now the children are started looking at the parents as villains after some time. That situation is alarming. We have not realized the philosophy of the birth. We have not realized the philosophy of living. We do not know what is happiness. Happiness means going outside and enjoying is happiness they feel. No. A healthy life is a happy life. You should never have problems in your mind or something. That can be taught only at the schools and colleges, when they show that how they should be. We must tell the children how they should be. They should be ready to face any challenges for the future. They should be ready to be perfect themselves, so that they will be in a position to become role models for others. They should be role models. I have been talking to many people when I go to the colleges and schools. Who is your role model? Whom you want to be? Thanks to Abdul Kalam. He came late, and some people have started telling Abdul Kalam's name. Mostly I used to hear I want to be like Kushbu. I want to be like Trisha. I want to be like somebody else. Like, they don't say that I want to be like my mother. I want to be like my sister. I want to be like my father in the boy's sense. I want to be like my brother, because there are no role models, or they don't consider them to be role models. Why? Because they themselves are not perfect. They're unable to follow them. They do not want to follow them because they have not taught them what is right and what is wrong. So making a person holistic is a highly a divine subject, highly a social concern subject, highly a national concern subject, and it is highly a subject to be reckoned with for the next generation. When I speak about holistic, we must think about the empathetic education also. Empathetic education, I don't mean it is again an education. Empathy comes from within. A person should have on his own. It comes from the gene. It comes from the hereditary. It has to be practiced. It cannot, you cannot have an empathetic feeling within yourself. It has to be shown in many places. A holistic person keeps the qualities within himself. He need not have to show to anybody. He need not have to demonstrate. But here, the empathy has to be demonstrated. Here again, it starts at home, it continues at the school, it continues in the society. Whenever we come out, whether we are child or adult or a teacher or somebody, everyone should have that empathetic feeling, because otherwise the world cannot run. When someone is hurt on the road, if we see them, just leave them and just go on our own way, it is not an empathetic feeling. Even a beggar comes to the home, he should be taken care empathetically. That means with concern. You can't throw the food, you can't throw the money. Empathy is kind. It's a kindness, how you treat others. And you should be kind, and for that you should have that empathetic mind. The moment you see someone suffering, you should have that pain within you. The pain of others should be felt by you. It is not that the pain, that fellow, he has made a mistake. I don't care for it. When you have something, there will be nobody to feel for you. Even you may not have any problems in your life, but that empathetic feeling alone makes you a perfect individual, perfect personality, perfect person. When I said in the beginning about the persona having a mask, the mask, holistic, whatever you have in, the persona, what you show outside, is that empathetic feeling. You may be a student, you may be a businessman, you may be anybody for that matter. As a human being, you have to be empathetic towards others. Otherwise, you are not called as a perfect human being. Here's the program we are talking about. Does that the college needs? If it is in the original, but now it is alarming. The 21st century, where everyone becomes self-centered, taking care of themselves. They don't care for us. I, for everything, I. How a people speak about I can speak about others. When we come to the schools and colleges, for the students I am talking, you must have that concern for others. When I was studying in Mani High School, Coimbatore, we used to have a team of people. We used to collect small money, 10 paisa, 5 paisa, 15 paisa, like that. The people who have changes. We used to collect money in a box. We used to keep it for when we go to the next class to buy books for the poor students. We have kept our poor. We don't see poor and rich in the student community, but still unaffordable and affordable. So the unaffordable persons have been given with the books, and our old books will be given to the newcomers. Suppose I am going to the 7th standard, I will give my 6th standard book to the newcomers who are not afford to buy the books. All those things were done. Now, slowly, that is, it is there, but it has not developed to the maximum extent. The empathy comes at home, the concern by even the brothers and sisters, even the parents and the sons, showing towards. Nowadays, we have seen one sister will be talking the mobile phone on the other side, the brother will be talking mobile phone on the other side. No one cares for each other. Even at the dining table, no one cares for what is being given by the mother. They eat just like as if they are eating something. and they don't see the taste. That means so much they are involved in the mobile phones. So mobile has mesmerized the entire feeling of the world's community. I'm afraid future, even some people will be sitting in the same room, talking towards each other, may have mobile phones, and they will be talking to mobile phones only. The discussion may not happen. So the virtual platform seems to be better, because the digital transformation may be a better communication, what we are seeing today, because when it becomes custom, then the communication through the digital is more enough, so that we will be able to speak to a person better through mobile phones than by sitting in front. By sitting in front, we are talking to others by the phone, So it doesn't make any sense. So we have to have that feeling within ourselves, caring for a person who is in front of us, caring for his feelings. That is another question. Making them to happy and make yourself happy is another sense in that empathy. It is not that we give charity to some people, 50 rupees, 100 rupees and go. That is not called empathy. Empathy must be felt. When you do something, that person must feel happy of your action. Then you feel happy of that happiness. You must feel happy of the happiness of the other person. That is the empathy, real empathy. Nowadays, people think that, oh, some people comes for a help. I have done that. I finished. That is over. That is called empathy. No. You must really feel the pain and agony of the other person within yourself, as if it has come to you. That is called the empathy. Realizing others as your own. That is the empathy. Because then only your action will be perfect. Your action will be true. You are in the classes, when someone feels, I have seen and heard many people, oh, this fellow has done a mistake. He needs it now. Let him have that pain. Even for a wound, I have seen people feeling happy. That is not an empathy. Whoever get hurts, either a good boy or a bad boy, or fought with you or a friendly with you, the feeling of yours should be same towards any human being. You are a child, same feeling. You are a children, same feeling. You are a teacher, same feeling. You are a human being ultimately. As a human being, you cannot change your quality. As a human being, you cannot have performed for others' sake. You must perform everything for your sake, your satisfaction. So putting both things together, what we are seeing now, you just analyze for a moment. People, they don't care for others. I said in the beginning, the quality of the self has reduced. Good quality I am talking about. Because ill-gotten money plays a major role in the society. Through that, people are seeing, people are enjoying both. When I see some bad fellow who becomes a rich man, then I will think that what is the use of being a good man? And that bad fellow, when he does something, and most of the people encourages, he gets elevated, in front of someone, because he is a rich man. People are unable to point out his mistakes. People are unable to question, because they don't have the self-confidence. When summing up together, either it is a program or a habitual development, it must be there in every human being. And who can perform that? Who can take it forward? It is the community of the children. Why? Because the children are the next generation. You may be a student today. Tomorrow you will be a teacher, you will be a society, you will be a social man. You are the society. We might go away in 10 years or 5 years or tomorrow, whenever the time comes. But you will stay for many years to take it forward. The holistic principles, the holistic quality you should have, you should imbibe, and you must also tell others. You must also educate your own friends and children, whoever comes in your home. Empathetic feelings should be taught or shown. When someone is in front of you, by your action, someone should get inspiration. Hey, here is a man who cares for others. Let me also do that. When you are appreciated by someone, you will become a hero. Thereby, somebody else will try to follow you. When you demonstrate yourself, it will be an education for others. If you do a mistake, it will be a model to others. So let us become leaders, let us become masters, let us become role models. At the end of the day, when we discuss many things in our life, we cannot carry anything whatever we have. You can't carry. You may be a rich person, you cannot carry. What you can carry? The God's blessings, the satisfaction, the happy living, the helping others. That only will give you more name, fame, and more satisfaction for yourself. When you are on the deathbed, when we are on the death, suppose I am going to die tomorrow, in the deathbed, I will think whatever good and bad I have done to the society, to the family, to the society around me. The good things should come and give me that happiness. Otherwise, with an anger, I will go out of this world. So every individual to have that holistic qualities, holistic principles, and to demonstrate the empathetic feeling with that holistic principle, that is most important more than the education. I still don't appreciate. When we have a program, it is like somebody in Coimbatore called me for a meeting to address Vanga Serikalam Vanga. What is this? The whole world is going where? To feel happy, he is calling for a meeting. Go there and stand like a dull man and say, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, call 10 times, ha ha ha. What is that happiness? That is not happy. We must have the sense of happiness at all times. If you go to the bed, sleep within 2 minutes of time. If you are talking to someone, give your consent to others. Listen to them, first of all. We must listen to people. What is their feeling? You shouldn't never jump the gun before they say something, we say something, and they stop their discussions. That is not empathy. Empathy is one you must demonstrate by listening to others, appreciating others, understanding the pain of others, try to remove the pain, try to give them the happiness, thereby you also make happy. That is what we are talking about today. I am extremely happy that you are conducting a wonderful program, and this program will take you a long way. And I am for sure, being a citizen of Coimbatore, they have said that my membership is at Madras. It is only for the Lionistic activity. I became international director during 2006 and 8. I was serving 59 countries with the support of 120 countries. So I was there in Chennai. I had to be there. But my birthplace is Coimbatore, living place is Coimbatore. And I have seen NIRMALA College's action. I was in Government Arts College at that time, 1969. And I'm seeing the administration of your sisters, one of the wonderful and an excellent administration. We have not heard any the students going for a strike or students fighting. And the students are taught the piousness, the way in which the sisters speak with their children. I'm extremely happy. Today, whenever you call, why I come? Because of your institutional discipline. That is the holistic principle what we are having. That holistic system will naturally, definitely will go down to the students. And I am sure the students, when they become the citizens of this great country, they will perform with that holistic sense, with an empathetic feeling towards others, and build an extraordinary society of tomorrow. It will be remembered forever for this international seminar that you are caring for the community more than the education. Education is a part for knowledge, but the quality is the one which nobody can give. We have to develop within ourselves, because that alone will make a perfect man. So education and knowledge has to synchronize. Education is the study and the paperwork. Knowledge is the one which comes from outside or imbibed from inside. So both should synchronize. Then only good man will be an educated man. A bad man cannot be an educated man. Bad man also can be an educated man, but he cannot be a good man. Because shrewdness comes out by their qualities, but goodness comes from within. And that will alone give you a satisfied life, a perfect life. Let us all put our qualities together, thinking together, our abilities together, our knowledge together to create a new society. Like Winston Churchill said in the war fronts, when the soldiers were were tired. They were unable to take it forward. He said, "My dear friends, the success is very near. Success is very near. It was far, but he said the success is very near, and he achieved it. Don't give up. Don't give up, and never and never and never give up. We will achieve success." And he has achieved success. Let us put our efforts together in building a better society with a holistic principles and policies and qualities, an empathetic feeling towards others, and an empathetic knowledge, so we can make a better future. Wish you all the best. I pray, Lord Almighty, all the wealth and cheerful life of Jesus may bless every one of you. God bless you. So that we all live as one community, one national children, and humanity as one in the world. One word and one heart is our philosophy and thinking, so that all things are still. And let us get everybody together, make them feel that they are our brothers and sisters, and live together as one. So all the best. I could not speak much, rather, the preparation for this, the preparation. I used to say, when there is time that I've been a person to come and speak, I have instead rather prepare here. I don't go through it. I have only given the practical knowledge whatever I have, because this is not the time I need full 1 hour for that preparation. I do not do it, and I do not want to barge into the next speaker's time. Thanks for everyone for listening to me. Maybe God will give us a chance to meet again and discuss in person. Thank you very much. Thank you, Elsie. Thank you, Rima, for the extraordinary.
Sir, thank you, sir. It was an excellent session. You explained very clearly as to how the holistic and empathetic environment should start from home, and how to inculcate the same in the educational environment, and how to be detached from attached to life, and how to be concerned about others, and successful future leaders. It was an excellent session, sir. Definitely, the students would have been benefited a lot out of your speech. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It was an interesting and informative session. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It makes sense of past, brings peace for today, and creates vision for tomorrow. Over to Jansi Suresh of 3rd BCom with her hearts of gratitude to propose the vote of thanks.
When you rise in the morning, give thanks for the life, for your strength. Give thanks for your food and for the joy of living. If you see no reason to give thanks, the fault lies in yourself. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. I'm extremely delighted to thank a special guest, Mr. K.G. Ramakrishna Murthy, past International Director, the International Association of Lions Club, who, despite his busy schedule, has found time to grace this occasion by accepting our invitation. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your inspiring and motivating speech on the title, Building a Holistic and Empathetic Educational Environment. My heartfelt thanks to his secretary, Reverend Dr. Sister Ruby Alangara Mary, our beloved principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Helen, dear Vice Principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Mary Fabiola, the Controller of Examination, Reverend Sister Dr. Emelda Mary, and all members of academic body for their unstinted support in all our endeavors. My deepest sense of appreciation to all participants from various colleges across the states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Kerala. I owe special gratitude for the head of the department, Mrs. J. Falanchiramu, Dr. A. Elizabeth, Dr. R. Kavita, and Dr. S. Lima Roslin for their valuable contribution, guidance, and encouragement in all our efforts. Last but not the least, I thank you, my friends, for your cooperation in making this event a memorable one. End is not the end. In fact, end means effort never dies. Once again, I thank you all for your attention and contribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Jancy. The participants are expected to stay back for the second session, which will start in another 5 minutes' time. Thank you.
Donna? Jivika?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Shall we start, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Christopher, sir?
Ma'am, very good morning.
Christopher, sir, good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Fine, sir. Can we start, sir?
Yeah, ma'am. It's very crisp and clear.
Okay. Jivika, you can start, ma.
Let God grant waters in your heart and fulfill all your plans. 20 verses 4. May God the Father bless us all in everything we do on this day. May the Christ fill us with his light so that we may illuminate our dark place for his sake. A very happy morning and hearty welcome to one and all gathered virtually here. We, the Department of Commerce, is immensely pleased in welcoming you all for the second session of National Seminar on the title Blending Physical and Digital Classrooms. A smile is the universal welcome. Now I call upon Dr. Kavita, Assistant Professor of Commerce, to give a hearty welcome to our esteemed guest of honor, Professor Christopher Devakumar, Associate Professor in PES University, Bangalore, and also the entire gathering.
Therefore, welcome one another as Christ has welcomed you for the glory of God. Very warm greetings to one and all present here virtually. It is my honor and privilege to render my warm greetings to our college secretary, Reverend Sister Dr. Ruby Alagara Mary, whose prayers have always guided us, and to the college principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Helen, who is our pillar of support. I extend my hearty welcome to our guest of the day, Mr. Christopher Devakumar, Associate Professor, PES University, Bangalore. It is my pleasant duty to introduce the resource person for the second session. Professor Christopher has a teaching experience of more than 9 years, industrial experience of more than 7 years, and research experience of more than 5 years. He is a member of Chartered Institute of Securities and Investments. He is a subject expert in areas like investment management, financial derivatives, management of financial services, commodity market, and research methodology. His area of interest include finance, alternative investment, risk management, and research. He has published papers on PUPP, peer learning, research-based learning, MOOC development, activity-based learning, problem-based learning, and technology-based learning. He has presented 3 papers in recent national conference, published 2 articles in international journals, and served as a resource person in workshops. Sir holds number of responsible positions which include coordinator for BBA, Moodle non-core e-test coordinator, NAC member, additional skill development team coordinator, e-learning coordinator, finance club and newsletter coordinator. We'll feel proud to have you as a resource person for the international seminar, sir. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. Finally, I extend a cordial welcome to all participants from NIRMALA College and other colleges across Tamil Nadu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
So first of all, very good morning to all, the management of NIRMALA College, the FMM sisters, principal, dean, HODs, faculty members, and also the students. My name is Christopher, and I'm from PES University. And so here I would like to share a few insights about the blending physical and digital classroom as such. So when Dr. Lima ma'am, spoke to me about this, so I think it was right time for me to, pitch into, because we are doing this for almost on all the universities in India. So I also would have, I do have a lot of experience in this. So I take this privilege to share a few insights about the members of the faculties of various universities and colleges. If you see the title, which says blending physical and digital classrooms. When I talk about this, the blending, what is the blending we are talking about? So are we talking about just that, okay, we need to balance between the blending, the physical classrooms and the digital classrooms? Or are we talking about the ICT incorporations? There are so many questions, maybe you can think about it. Now, the first and the foremost thing what I wanted to ask, or maybe we can just try to introspect and see, so what exactly is our objective of teaching? Or maybe what is the primary objective of the students who are learning a particular course in the university? So that is where we need to start our thinking process. As a teachers, we need to see how effectively we take the classes, or how interestingly we move forward with the usage of ICTs and so on. Now, the next question I would ask myself is all about where is the starting point for all these things? So in the classroom, what exactly happens? In a classroom, in the physical classrooms, if we have a direct face-to-face contact between the students, then what we have is, we give them a lot of homeworks, we then give them a lot of worksheets on the board, and a lot of other things. This is what we normally do in the classroom, the physical classrooms. Maybe some faculties may go for embedded learning, teaching and learning. Some faculties may go for integrated learning of both ICTs and the activity-based learning and all these things. Now, the question comes here is when to use activities, when to use worksheets, when are you planning for assignments and so on. So all these things, where exactly it starts. So that is where this entire session is planned in such a way that we are going to talk about 5 major aspects, okay, or maybe rather I would say 4 major aspects in terms of what exactly is your physical classroom. So what exactly is the digital classrooms all about? Then we speak about the digital transformation. That's what the primary idea is, to make you understand how this digital transformation should take place with the appropriately, the effectively. Okay, so that's what we will be trying to introspect. And apart from this, I have a few ideas about the 2 important things. One is tool-based learning and worksheet-based learning. Okay. So let us try to introspect. Maybe if you want, maybe you can have keep your questions. Maybe the last 10-15 minutes we can try to introspect and see what exactly it is. Now, first we need to understand here is what exactly you mean by education. So what are we trying to do here? As everyone knows, we are talking about the international standards, and the pedagogy has completely changed between the way we spoke about the Gurukul system and where we are today. So when we spoke about Gurukul systems, then we never spoke about, or we never had a chance to introspect and see what are the technological implications which can be incorporated. So that's where we need to start thinking. As and when the technology grows, as and when we move forward in the education paradigm, it is very important for each and every one of us to see how effectively I can take the classroom teaching on the digital platform. So that is the transformations what we are talking about here. That is not a very simple thing, because students should not be like we need to spoon feed them, right? So they need to be self-administered. Okay, and each and every student who is coming forward for learning a particular course, first and the foremost thing, we need to educate them in terms of how to self-administer a particular student. And also, a particular course is not fixed for 60 hours. In the entire education system, each and every course is for a lifetime. So the way he learns, the methodology he incorporates should be an ongoing process, whether he learns today or he might learn tomorrow. So that's not a question we are talking about, we have here. So it's a continuous streaming process. The next important aspect here is, which most of the case we forget, is involvement learning. Now, we as a teachers, we just tell them, okay, see, this is what a particular topic is all about, and these are the examples of this topic, and this is why you have to do it. But where is the involvement? Are we giving that component? Maybe few faculties, definitely we will incorporate few things. But again, is that a systematic? Is it a measurable aspect? So that is the two questions we need to keep in mind before we even teach them a particular topic. Because unless we involve the students, unless we show them that, see, this is how you need to do, the practicality component is missing in most of the cases. I mean, it's not that, okay, it's a theory paper, how can I incorporate tools and techniques? No, there is a possible way of doing that also. Then how Udemy, Coursera, Khan Academy, all these people are running a lot of courses online. So how effectively they are learning, how effectively they are teaching, that's all about how well we are incorporating the tools and techniques. So every course should have the component of tools and techniques. If the tools and techniques components is not there, especially it's not possible for us to blend the digital, the physical classroom into the digital classrooms. It's not possible. Now, I would say that most of us who are sitting and listening to this conference would agree that physical classroom is much better than online. Online students are not concentrating. Yeah, so that is one way of perception, or that could be one perception from most of the faculty members. But still, there is a high possibility of making that point, avoid. How? So this is where the curriculum plays a major role. This is where a teacher, in his expertise, should create or design the curriculum in such a way that each and every topic has a micromanagement component attached to it. So that I will be talking about in the upcoming slides. The next important point we need to identify here is how well the ideas, how well the plan is incorporated in terms of the development. So what exactly we are talking about development? Are you talking about students' development? Are you talking about their thinking development or critical thinking development? All these things are very important, especially when it comes to a constructive development. Okay, we cannot say that, see, I've taught this paper for 60 hours. So what is an implication on that? So you cannot say that, right? Oh, I've learned everything in one shot. So the constructive feedback, the constructive development should be there. And that is what we as a faculty should monitor and evaluate each and every topic wise, rather than looking at the course level. Okay. Then, if you talk about the education, the meaning, so what is that? We are talking about the welfare of the individuals, right? So that's what he or she is definitely looking out for a university or a college or a program. When we write the COs and POs, right? So program objectives and course objectives, what exactly we're talking about? It's not only the syllabus what I'm teaching, it's all about how well I'm taking care of your welfare as well. So that is one of the important component. So that is why learning process becomes very, very important, especially at the 20th generation. Right? Yeah. And the last point is very important, which I would always love to hear the word, which is called as a holistic growth. I always say that, say, if two students, when a student comes here to a campus, I will say that, it's getting 100% or 99% or 9 CGPA doesn't make any much difference for you unless you grow holistic. So holistic growth in terms of all the 360 lines, he or she should be enhance herself or inflate her in terms of getting those or acquiring those knowledges. So that is predominantly 50% lies with the teachers who teach those particular subjects. Now, how are we going to do that? So how are we achieving this? Is going to be a very big task on the table. So when I have that much of responsibility as a teacher, so don't you think that planning is very important? So let's not start. Okay, some universities gives me a curriculum. I as a teacher will sit and frame the 60 hours paper, and finally I will say that okay, I'm done. So if that is the case, then all the objectives what we have mentioned, we are not following it, or we are not falling into the category of that, which is called as an embedded, right? Or we cannot say ourselves that an effective, teaching and learning process. So the teaching and learning process should be followed by all the teachers in the universities very appropriately. Only then it is possible for a particular person or a particular teacher to deliver the content appropriately, and the student also shows interest into it. Now, there are many other debates can be taken into consideration. There are many other aspects which are there. But again, what is my role as a teacher? So how far I can blend my curriculum in such a way that whatever it was taught in the the physical classes, how effectively I can convert them into an online classes? That's always a question mark. So until a teacher decides, okay, our digital transforms, only then it is possible for us to move to the next level. If a teacher is not a person who is digitally transformed, then there is no point of we talking about all these things. So the next question here is how well we are transformed. To what extent we are transformed ourselves. Yes, ma'am. You have something to say?
Sir, excuse sir, we are not able to view your screen. It is in the first screen.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Ma'am, is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Now.
Okay. All right. May I continue, ma'am?
Yes, sir. You can continue. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So these are some of the points which I was talking. I think if you've missed out, then maybe I'll go back to this slide. So this is what I just wanted to give a brief introduction about what is education and where exactly all these things start. There should be some starting point. The starting points comes here. So the involvement and the teaching, learning aspects. So, and also the holistic growth is very much important for each and every faculty member who's sitting right now in front of the system to make sure that we need to give them the holistic growth. Unless we give them, it's not going to happen. The course is not delivered for 100%. So yes, of course, whether it could be an online or it could be an offline. Now, how far we are delivering the content is what we'll be talking about in the upcoming slides. See, when it comes to the perspective of, so each and every the faculty member's perspective should be in three forms. And very importantly, the analytical perspective is very important. And that too, this is the need for the hour. So now students have so much of caliber, capacity. So it's how well you need to put them into constructs. So there are three important ways we can think about. So one is your dynamic nature of the student. Another one is education. It's three pillars. That is where my entire presentation will be concentrated on. And the last one is the development of individual, which is nothing but your holistic growth of a student. Now, when you speak about the education as a three-pillar process, so that is going to be the crux of the entire presentations. So if each and every faculty member thinks or introspects on these three pillars, that is more than enough for us as a teachers to deliver an appropriate content, and that makes an appropriate blending between the physical and the digital classrooms. Now, of course, I do understand that, sir, is it just like that? Am I talking about just the incorporation of the ICT tools? See, ICT tools, I think most of it, since pandemic came into existence, I think most of the students and teachers are very much oriented towards a lot of tools and techniques which are there. My next question is, how effectively are you going to use? So that, sir, I'm using my Excel sheet. What else I can use? Maybe there are many things. When some faculties, last couple of days back, they said, sir, I'm using Edmodo, but it is not very effective. No, there is a technicality, which means that it's not fault with the application. It is not fault with the way we do. It is the fault from, maybe I would say that, think out of the box. So the micromanagement is missing in each and every topic. So I will show you some of the things, and I will have I will take you through one of the steps of how far a particular topic can be delivered both offline and online simultaneously with 100% effectiveness. But end of the day, it's in the student's hand whether he wanted to take it or not. But it is our responsibility for the students to make them understand, okay, this is what your importance is all about. If you do this, and this is what your outcome is all about. So that is why we are writing the POs and COs, right, in our curriculum designing. Okay. Now, when you speak about the 3 pillars, this is what I would focus on, and especially that each and every teacher, maybe you can think about one of the courses from your perspective and just try to map it, virtually. There are 3 aspects. One is purpose, this content, and teaching methodology. Okay. Now, what is this teaching methodology? What we're talking about? Yeah. So, what is the purpose of this course? Now, that definitely every one of us know that. Okay, so the purpose of the course is all about. End of the day, if I'm taking financial management, I should be able to say that. Okay, end of the day, you should know what is NPV, you should know what is future value, you should know what is time value of money, or you should know what is ratios. But that is not the case here, because the purpose, we need to clearly define that. See, in the market, this is what the marketer required, and because if you study this, and definitely you are going to touch that level. So the curriculum designing plays a major role here. The second one is the content for the particular course of 60 hours. What is the content you are preparing, and how effective content? And still we are in most of the universities and colleges, they do have the content which was 50 years old, which is not required now. We are not talking about, if you see the foreign universities, they are taking a course, or maybe a cost accounting, or maybe a fund derivative markets, or derivative accounting, or derivative products. They take it as a 25 hours. But those days when we studied, it was 60 to 100 hours we studied. Now they are packaging it in a very small courses, which is all, maybe you can call it as a minor course. And they are delivering the content in 25 hours. So what is that? That is the purpose what we need to solve. So we need to design the curriculum, or we need to design the course in such a way that what exactly the market wanted. Of course, there are certain fundamental papers which will be there. It's not that, say, for example, I cannot change financial accounting for BCom. I cannot change derivative marketing. Okay. So all these papers are fundamental, but how effectively you can get the new system into the place, that's where we need to identify. The third important aspect is the methodology. This is where we as a teachers play a major role in terms of how effectively a particular topic can be delivered. Okay, rather than unit wise, I'm going to break them into minor component called as topic wise. Now, the digital transformation this is what the digital transformation is all about. You might use any technique. You might use SPSS, you might use R, you might use Python, you might use eViews, or you might use Excel, you might use a lot of other things. But the question is, why are we using it? Unless a particular topic is clearly designed in such a way that it is effectively can be delivered, then that's where your teaching aids are just around 20% help. But the majority of the components comes only when the effectiveness of teaching, how far you are incorporating those tools into your learning. That's where our job comes very easy. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of us know what is the difference between the physical classroom and digital classroom. Okay, now the question comes here is, now is it which one you can also debate that which one is very effective. Now, can somebody tell me that, okay, this is what it is ineffective? You cannot say that unless we practice them, right? So I think most of our senior members, senior faculties are here. So they are the best people to tell me that, okay, they will say that chalk and talk methodology is still followed in Harvard University, right? In Stanford University, still chalk and talk methodology is there. But can you say that no, they are into digital formation, or they are transformed digitally? Yes, of course. There are a lot of papers which are digitally transformed into various levels. Now, whether you're talking about whether it is a physical classroom or a digital classroom, there should not be any parity or a disparity between the two things. So if I'm a teacher who's taking this particular paper in the online for the last 100 hours, and a student fails in almost all the papers, then there is no effectiveness. Now, that could happen because of monotonous, or that could happen because the student just puts on the video and switches off the videos and just leaves somewhere else. All these things we have practiced in this last 2 years. So the challenge, what we are talking about here is, how effectively, how interestingly you can get the syllabus onto the dais. So that makes a lot of difference. So for that, we need three things. One is it starts with the curriculum. So how far your curriculum is so well designed or so well constructed. The second one is your teaching methodology, and the last one is incorporation of tool-based learning. Now, there was a couple of days back, one of the faculty came and said that, see, how can I use tools in economic papers? How can I use different tools in marketing papers? Because all these papers are theoretical in nature. So how far? Now, you need to work around with the paper or with the tools which can be incorporated in certain amount of topics. Out of 56 hours or 60 hours, can't we use any single tool? Now we're talking about digital and social media marketing, right? We are using Google Ads. Google plays a lot of aspects. It gives you so much of aspects. So can't we use one of those? Our members are using, our faculty members are using, many of the faculty members are using various tools in terms of digital media marketing. So it is up to the faculty to decide whether the particular tool can be incorporated or not. Because when you use a tool, a student also, the analytical knowledge also increases for a particular student. Rather than that, now if I just keep on telling you the conventional methodologies, now say this is, there are 5 P's in marketing. Okay, these are some of the important aspects in marketing. And that's, the topic is end there itself. But have you ever tested them? Can you tell them that, okay, if I ask a question, can you define 5 P's of marketing? A student will write all the 5 P's, and we give 4 or 5 marks out of 6 or 7. Now, where is the effectiveness? Where is the analytical thinking here? But this will happen in a classroom. So we ask the students directly. We can ask questions. Okay, student, okay, I'm going to ask these questions. You have to answer this. But again, even in that case also, whether it is an online or whether it is an offline, the methodology is the same. The learning aspect is the same. Only thing in the classrooms, a simple, how many of you can say that, okay, a particular student is listening to the class for the next 45 hours? We cannot, there's always a debatable question, right? So rather than thinking about how far we are going to be effective when in teaching, in a physical or in a digital, so whether it is digital or physical, how well is my topic is what we need to see. So that plays a major role in terms of each and every faculty delivering a particular component in such a way that the effectiveness is very, very appropriate. Now moving on to the next important slide. So I would say I think all the teachers definitely who are listening to this presentation will know. So we have 2 student-centered and teacher-centered and so on. Now the question comes here as reminders. Now before 2019 or before 2020, so the methodology was completely different. So the teacher-centric is teachers were very knowledgeable. The teachers are very adaptive to the technology. And teachers are also thinking about getting a lot of case studies and methodologies when it comes to teacher-centered. The amount of knowledge what we had or the teachers had was enormous. But again, now when I talk about the instruction, the formal authorities, now what we do is how far the expertise level is. That always remains a question mark. Right? So if I'm a teacher who is teaching investment management, my friend is also another teacher who is in investment management, the level of expertise changes. So how, if I can deliver the content for 40 or maybe around 60%, maybe my colleague can deliver the same content with 100% effectiveness. So that is why there is a slight bias in the teacher center. But that is where we talk about the Gurukul system. So whatever the Guru says, we accept. So we are blocking the analytical skill there itself of a particular student. And nowadays, student, believe it or not, student has all possible resources on his hands. So if I'm teaching them about what is the option market or what is derivative market or what is ratio analysis, a student has 1,000 ways to find out the answer. Now, then what exactly is our role? So how far you are enhancing the research-based knowledge for the students. And that's when you talk about the student-centered, if you see in the top right corner, you can see that inquiry-based learning. We are just facilitators now. We act as facilitators. But again, now we are also delegation. We do delegate. But how well we facilitate, how well we delegate. So that makes a lot of difference. Now, rather than just me sitting in one of my MBA classes, whenever I go to my classes, the student says that before I go to a particular class, I send them the notes one day prior. So I ask the students to come up with a lot of solutions. You believe it or not, I get 100 responses from 100 different students. Now, what would I say? Should I say them they are very expert or very knowledge than us, or they are very smart enough, or they don't know anything just because of Google is there that they found out all the information? So the question is whether they have it or not. So whether a particular student should be able to be in a position to substantiate for what information he is giving. If that is the case, that is the learning process what we are talking about. So nowadays, especially when it comes to the post-pandemic situation, I think most of the students have enormous amount of information playing around with their hands. So that is where we come as a cooperative learning. So we are delegating and facilitating. So this should always balance. If you know whatever I said is correct, we might be wrong also sometimes. Am I right? So I think students are more tech savvy compared to the faculties who are at present. Vice versa, maybe could be other way on or other way also. So, but here now you need to. It is our very, very big challenge in front of each and every teacher. How well we are going to facilitate the students in such a way that yes, sir, your class is very, very good. So it's getting to that place when you're talking about that level. So think about how much we need to work in order to get the content delivered in an appropriate way. So that's going to be a challenging role for each one of us sitting in this class. I'm not going to talk about what are the ICT tools which are there. I think most of you, everyone should be knowing about. There are many aspects which are there. Now the question is, there are certain. This was one of the. I'm referring to one of the previous conferences which I took. One of the faculty member from Rajasthan asked me that. So should I use high technicality or should I use low technicality? So in order to get that, even there was a point to be taken down here is some faculties or many of the faculties may not be tech savvy, but still their classes are very good. So that's what I said. Even if you talk about Gurukul system, the Gurukul system is wonderful, right? But again, we cannot convert that into the present scenarios because most of us we may not understand how the Gurukul system works appropriately. Nowadays, students are, as I said, students have access to almost all their platforms. Now, it is very important that we need to be little high-tech savvy. So, these are all just the delivery. These are the platforms which can be used into the curriculum for me to take into consideration. But the next question is, how far or what is the purpose of me teaching the curriculum or a course of maybe 50 hours or 60 hours or whatever it is. The second one is content. How do I phrase the content and how well I've structured my content. And the next one comes the delivery. On the left hand side, there is a picture which talks about your high-tech savvy and low-tech savvy is related to the delivery. But I give importance to the content part. Now, and this is just a simple slide which I wanted to talk to you about. What are the things which are there? Maybe I think you can just think about one important aspect, which is peer-to-peer learning. As I said, I will be very comfortable when learning with my friend rather than from a teacher. But again, if it is organized, we can do this as well. So how far the peer-to-peer learning can be incorporated in such a way that the effectiveness of understanding a particular or a complex problem can be made very easy. And the last one is I would give importance to the research base. So the first one was peer-to-peer learning. So this is very important. The last one is your research-based learning. So how far you are enabling a particular student in terms of getting that knowledge. So you need to motivate the students. We need to make them understand how far or how depth a particular topic can go to the next level. So these are some of the things what maybe we can think about from the physical classrooms. But whatever we are doing in a physical classroom, the challenge is how far we are connecting or we are embedding or maybe blending that into the digital mode. That becomes very challenging. So the student always attends my class, but his video is not there, audio is not there, but I'm not very sure whether he or she is learning the topic or not. So that is why it happens because of monotonous, or maybe the student is not interested. Unless the students, we need to mold the students in such a way that they get the interest on the subject first, on a particular topic. See, you can just do whatever it is. You can do many ideas. If you just send out an assignment question, dear students, please, this is an assignment which I'm giving in Edmodo, please do it and do. They will they'll cut, copy, paste, and they will send it across. So where is the evaluation component? So where is the the effectiveness? Where is the crux of that? So it is good for a task there itself. So maybe this or some of the I think most of you would have noted about all the things. I'm going to give importance to this, which is also called as a pre-recorded video, okay, or pre-recorded lecture, maybe for 20 minutes, okay, and this will be my class, online class for 45 minutes, okay, and now I am using this Vacom, okay, and you have many app related tools and techniques, so that for you to make a little interesting about this, how far you can deliver the content appropriately. Now the question comes to our mind is, this is where my the major aspect of my presentation is all about. So whichever faculty is sitting in this presentation should be little careful in terms of understanding this. So I have a curriculum. I am teaching, say for example, let me take a paper on investment management. Okay, so I'm taking about the subject called as investment management. Okay, now in this investment management, what is my curriculum? So I designed my curriculum for 50 hours to 60 hours. Okay, now in each hour, say for example, class number 1, 2, 3, till I have it for 60 hours. What is my first class number, topic? Say for example, introduction. Okay, now I need to have, once this introduction is there, maybe what are the pedagogy? Say for example, I can use spreadsheet. Okay, this is what I will be telling you. Okay, so this class number 1, okay, my curriculum should be very effective, my curriculum should be very appropriate, my curriculum should be very brand new. So unless until, that is why I marked in a different color, because curriculum that is a starting point of teaching learning. The next is you're breaking the curriculum into topics. So if my class is for 60 hours, my topics will be 60 topics. That is in the hands of the respective faculty members to break the curriculum into 60 different topics. Now, for each and every 60 topics, you design the methodology. How are you teaching each and every topic? Okay, there is a format which I will tell you. So each and every topic can be micromanaged in such a way that the methodology is clearly defined, and then we speak about the execution. So the execution, when it comes to the execution part, that's very simple. This is where you use your ICT methods, maybe Edmodo or maybe Excel or maybe R or SPS or whatever it is. So your incorporation of ICT comes only in the execution part, not in the curricular part. But when you're designing the curriculum, you need to mention that these are the technical tools and techniques I'm incorporating. This particular topic requires SPSS. This particular topic required, X Microsoft spreadsheet. Or this particular topic I'm going to go for WBL, which is worksheet-based learning. So this is the primary step each and every one of us should think about. So once you design this, and that's where this is a very, very important slide which I wanted to tell you. So each and every topic should have these components. I'm pretty sure that most of the faculties might feel little difficult for us to say, how can I frame all these things in for one particular topic? Say my topic for today is, say for example, I'm gonna give investment avenues. Okay, investment avenues. Okay, and this is my topic number T1. For T2, when my topic 2, say for example, risk and return. Okay, so for each and every topic, I need to have a pre-recorded video for 20 minutes. You can cut short it to 10 minutes also. You cannot say that, okay, say this particular topic, how will I speak for 20 minutes? It's not possible. I can speak only 5 minutes. Anything between 5 to 10 minutes of a particular topic can be absolutely fine. Okay, so this, you will record that and keep it before the class starts. Okay, so you need to have your websites, you need to have your own pedagogy or maybe your portal where you can have your database there itself. The second important aspect is, and this is where you are the live lectures, you are defining this 20 minutes, you're elaborating this 20 minutes to 45 minutes. Okay, please don't have more than 1 hour. No, students will not have a capacity to listen to 1 hour online lectures. Okay, we need to cut short it and make sure that the particular component is delivered in such a way that the interest is created there. The second one is, you need to give them the assignments for the topic what you're discussing, rather than giving a vague explanation or assignments for throughout the entire subjects. No, that's a wrong pedagogy. So give them whatever the topic we are discussing in invest. Maybe you can ask a question. Let me give you an answer. For a topic like this, the investment avenues, identify the various investment avenues which are there in London. Identify which are the various investment avenues which talks about which is from Scotland. So what people will do is, in India we have post office savings, fixed deposits, and all the things. So students will think, your analytical skill will enhance, right? So based on that, you ask them to come 2 MCQ questions. That's more than enough. Can't we frame it 2 MCQ questions for that particular topic? Absolutely fine. When we can take a class for 45 minutes, why can't we frame a topic for 2 minutes? I mean, 2 questions. Then after that, you give them the notes pertaining to that. Okay, maybe around a paragraph. All right. So this will act as one of the important. The students will not say, keep running here and there. I'm pretty sure some of the faculties, senior faculties, might say that. So don't you think that this is a feedback, spoon feeding? Yes, of course. But again, we are giving them the analytical knowledge. That is where the reference part plays a major role here. So here, there, but this particular topic, and this is the reference textbook what you need to use. And apart from this, you are going to give them the reference readings also, and that is where we'll enhance. Okay, this is one dimension. This particular author or this particular textbook says this. Okay, and now why can't I go and read some other textbook? So you need to create that mentality for the student to think is dimensions in various aspects. So that will make students interesting. We need to engage the students in such a way that they don't get free time, especially for the subjects what we're talking about here now. And then you give them some question and answers and so on. So each and every topic should have these components. Now I'm pretty sure that this is pretty difficult in the beginning stages. Yes, of course, over a period of time. This is what your foreign universities are also doing, but they are doing it in a little constructive way. They may not have some of these components. They might have out of 6 or 7 components what I've listed, they might have only around 3 components. So I'm fine with my notes, I'm fine with my MCQs, I'm fine with my in my question and answers, but I don't go for video recordings. Now try to do and see how best you would love. The faculties, you can just talk, just try to record few videos of yourself and see what happens. So you can ask the students also to record some videos and send it across. Now, since they will love to see their screen, faces on the screens. So maybe you can also give them a particular topic to the students, ask them to present a 2 minutes video. Yeah, or maybe you can ask them to write an assignment, and you can ask them to submit it. Absolutely fine. So the way we think about here, a way we progress, that is very important. So which means that if I have around 56 hours for this particular topic, I need to have 56 components of this. So it's going to be a little difficult task for the faculty. That I am pretty much sure about it. But how well we are going to do that, how effectively we are going to do that, yes, that is completely in our hands. Then very importantly is, there are 2 things which I wanted to tell. See, I think for all of us are here at commerce and management related. Tool-based learning, as I said in the previous slide, we need to have, this is one of the problems which I worked out, created for a particular subject called as investment management. Now what happens is, we are teaching them in the class. So we are telling them, okay, so this is how you calculate beta, this is how you find out the optimum portfolio. That's it. That ends there itself. And after 2 months, when the exam comes, you ask the student that, can you please work out this problem and tell me let me know. Definitely the student will say, can you please share me the PPTs or whatever it is, then I will read and study. If that tool-based learning is happening in each and every topic what you are giving, now this ask the student to create the sheet rather than using simple Excel sheet, Or if that is not possible, ask them to create in SPSS, or ask them to work it out with taxmen. Many are there, right? Now this is where your execution comes into picture. You tell them, so this is how you will have to do the problem. So each and every subject or course should be affiliated to any of the tool-based management. If the tool-based management is not there, then the involvement learning will never be happening. So that is one of the important components. So this is how I ask the students. This was prepared by one of my students, that I told them this is the problem. You find out with the Excel sheet and you work around with the Excel sheet and come out and design it properly and come. So when we started doing it, so this is where you are involving him into the learning process. So when you involve him into the learning process, he comes out with so beautiful. The outcome is almost accepted here. But if those days our teachers used to do what they do is give the chalk piece on the hand and say that you will work out the problem on the board. So we might be wrong, we might be correct, we don't know. But now we cannot do the same aspect. Am I correct? Now the methodology is changed drastically. So we need to involve them in the teaching and learning process, whether it is online or whether it is offline. The more you involve them into the aspect, the effectiveness will not be there appropriately. So that is one important thing. So I request the faculties to always start with a particular topic with a tool-based learning. That will be very effective. And the last one is worksheet, and this is also been created by me. So this is always called as PUPP models. If you can see here, so PUPP. So what exactly is P? The plan, understand, perform, and present. So these are the 4 things. But again, we are not. You can say, sir, I'm taking 5 subjects. How will I prepare for worksheets? Try starting to do with all these are one-time time investments. We are going to invest the time only for once. But after, as and when you progress, especially for the practical papers like accountancy, taxation, and statistics or mathematics or all these things, you have to put your efforts only once. But after that, from the next time onwards, you need to keep upgrading the sheets. So I have around, for my entire subject, I had around 100 plus worksheets which are there in my investment management subject. Similarly, with financial risk management, I have around 100 sheets of this. So what happens is I ask the students only to prepare this, right? So the first 20 sheets are prepared by me. The remaining all the other sheets are prepared by the students itself. So they will also show some interest in terms of design. I ask the students to come up with your own problem. Rather than giving what is a systematic risk, what is unsystematic risk, or what is investment management, if I tell them this, can you frame up a particular problem and come back to the class, and your problem is be learned by all the other 500 members, definitely the student will be very interested. So this PUPP model works. This is a time value of money which I'm teaching is one of the paper called as a financial management for 1 BCom. Very simple. And this has also been done by a student of the first year student. So you can say some of the argument was some faculties sometimes later, they said, no sir, it is not possible because students don't have time. So I asked the same, that in a day, how many hours a student is presented in the campus? And how many hours in the weekend he is preparing or is dedicated for education? Now, education outside is very competent enough. So until if he or she does not give the right time for the education, then it's absolutely a waste of time. So these are the 2 things which I wanted to share with all of you. Maybe we can have a detailed deliberation in terms of worksheet-based learning and so on, because that would take a lot of time for you to understand, because I need to explain what is planning, what is perform, what is interpretation and so on. So I have my statistics paper which I normally teach for the MCOM students, where each and everything is jotted down very clearly. Just because of the time constraints, I will not be able to show that. But yes, of course, I can send across a few samples to all of the faculty members. We'll start working on to that. Even for the Excel sheet, yes, of course. So the more, it might be very simple. Excel sheet is, as I know Excel sheet, but if you ask the students to do a VLOOKUP function, he will not be able to do it. If you ask a student that can you do a sum products, he may not understand why am I using sum products. So that involvement and applicability of that particular tool should be embedded into the curriculum. Until the tools are embedded into the curriculum, the student will not have any interest in terms of learning, especially when it comes to online. So the way we blend the offline and online is the way we deliver the content. So when you wanted to have a very good blend of both put together, irrespective of whether it is, you cannot focus only on online, you cannot focus only on offline. Tomorrow, all of a sudden, government is, lifts down all the restrictions, says that we are back to normal. If that is the case, then how are you going to justify what we have done? So it is important for you as a teacher to understand, to make our curriculum in such a way that it is adaptable for both offline and online. More than that, the effectiveness of the teaching should be very appropriate. So that's going to make a lot of difference in terms of a particular topic getting selected, or the particular topic will get a huge success rate when the teacher is delivering the contents. I did not talk much about the ICT because ICT is only the delivery, the last execution part. That can be done anytime. I think faculties by now, you might be well versed in almost many types of tools and techniques. So that's it all about. Maybe I think I have 5 minutes. Maybe if anyone has any questions or clarifications, yes, of course, maybe we can take few questions. And thank you so much for the opportunity given for me.
Students, if you are having any queries, you can put in the chat box through YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely fine. If you have any doubts, maybe you can just put it across in the chat box. Maybe I can just reply to that. One more thing is, I would like, at this point, I would like to thank Dr. Lima ma'am for inviting me for this seminar. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to thank all the members, faculty members, HODs, and the students for listening for the last 1 hour. So thank you so much. If you have any clarifications, I've given my my mail address and maybe you can just shoot a mail. Maybe I think I can respond to that. Yes, of course, the last 2 points, maybe it might be a little interesting when you start working on the tool-based learning. I think even from the students' point also, students, how many of you can say, how many of you are saying here, no, I'm very, business mathematics is very difficult for me. I make it very simple. If you start working on these lines, nobody can say that I know I have difficulties in math. Nobody is going to say that I have difficulties in risk management. Because the way we deliver, so the way you understand is very simple. Okay, there's nothing to do with rocket science. It's all about few things we need to keep in mind always, and few things we need to just spontaneously, we need to think about it. So before you execute a particular problem, when you talk about algebra, you talk about maybe integral calculus or integration, all these things, it's all about logical thinking. So we are just enabling the logical thinking so tomorrow nobody is going to say that, nobody is going to say I'm very weak in math. It's all about my practice, my self-commitment. And second thing is the ideas. The idea generation is very important. So the worksheet-based learning will enable that concept. So tomorrow you can also understand, very simple, it's going to make very simple. I think you might have heard about many other education providers from outside. So most of them deal with worksheet styles. So to break the problem into multiple divisions, and we solve the problem. So that's how it should be. Okay. So if any questions or clarification, maybe you can post your questions, or maybe you can mail it across to me. I have my email 24/7. So even if I'm not replying in the night, maybe I'll reply in the morning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Jivika, now you can proceed.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your remarkable speech. Gratitude is not made in words, but in the hearts which expresses it. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live up to them. May I now call upon Getzial of 2nd BCom to propose the vote of thanks.
The best and beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt by heart. Thank you is one such prayer among them. A warm and graceful morning to everyone gathered virtually. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard for the smooth conduct of this program. At the outset, I extend my profound thanks to the Lord Almighty for having given us
us the opportunity to have such a great personality amidst us on this wonderful day. I extend my deep sense of gratitude to our chief guest, Professor Christopher Devakumar, Associate Professor, PES University, Bangalore, for gracing this occasion with his presence and for sharing his immense knowledge and experience with us on the topic blending physical and digital classrooms. We are indeed immensely privileged to have you and listen to you, sir. It was an excellent address, sir. I, on behalf of Department of Commerce, NIRMALA College for Women, surrender heartfelt thanks to you, sir, for you made this day a memorable one. My special note of thanks to our respected college secretary, Reverend Sister Dr. Ruby Alangara Mary, and our dear principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Helen, Vice Principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Mary Fabiola, the Controller of Examinations, Reverend Sister Dr. Emelda Mary, and all members of academic body for standing behind us in all our endeavors. I extend my heartfelt thanks to all faculty members and student participants from various colleges. My sincere thanks to our head of the department, Mrs. J. Fulencia Kamal, and our teaching faculties, Dr. A. Elizabeth, Dr. R. Kavita, and Dr. S. Lima Roslin for their involvement beyond their comfort zones to make this program successful. My big thanks to all the students for making this event a memorable one with your presence. Once again, I thank our guest of honor and NIRMALA fraternity. Thank you.
Thank you so much once again, and have a nice day.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Lima, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
I request all the participants to stay back for the last session, which will start in a short while.
Okay, shall we start?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am,
Can we start immediately or we'll
yes,
wait?
yes, ma'am. Within 2 minutes, we can start, ma'am.
Okay. Lydia, ma'am, the first slide is not there. Yeah.
Marion Getsi, are you ready? Can we start the program, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust Him, and He will help you. Psalm chapter 37, verse 5. A pleasant morning and hearty welcome to everyone gathered here. Welcoming is like a sunshine. It brings lots of brightness and enthusiasm to our soul. May I now call upon Dr. Lima Roslin, Assistant Professor from Department of Commerce, to spread the sweet aroma of welcome to a guest of honor and the entire gathering.
This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Psalm 118:24. A happy morning to one and all present here. The portals of our commerce family extend a warm welcome, and we feel exceptionally blessed and fortunate to have you amidst us. I am extremely honored to have the pleasant task of welcoming and introducing the distinguished guest of the day, Mrs. Fatima Magdalene Majella Philip, the founding principal of
Babaji Vidhyashram Senior Secondary School, Chennai. Madam has completed her bachelor's degree in commerce from Stella Maris College, Chennai. Master's degree in commerce from St. Joseph's College, and also a bachelor's degree in education from Andhra University. She served as a commerce teacher in an English school run by her in Dubai, UAE, and demonstrated expertise in teaching commerce subjects to grade 11 and 12 CBSE board aspirants, and coordinated, monitored, and mentored the department teachers in the implementation of academic programs. She served as the academic coordinator and economic teacher in Al Ittihad Private School, American International School in Dubai for 15 years. At present, she is the founding principal for Babaji Vidhyashram School, Chennai, and she has been actively involved in strategic planning and implementation of all school programs, curriculum planning and implementation, experimental pedagogy in teaching, professional development of faculty, leadership training, job embedded technologies development and implementation, teacher and student digital literacy enhancement, and integrating all learning areas in school. She has also received professional certificate for attending workshops related to IB, IGCSE, AP, and CBSE board modules and enrichment programs, and also certificate from British Council on completing educational modules and teacher training programs. Madam has excellent skill in communication technology, use, and curriculum planning. She has demonstrated creativity, determination, persistence, problem solving, and consistency in dispense of duties, efficient in strategic planning, monitoring, and mentoring of academic, yeah, and highly passionate about educating the young and changing their lives for the better. She has submitted and presented research papers on educational philosophy, won several awards in debates, oratory, theatre, and dance. She has written several poems and articles for newspapers and magazines. We are highly privileged to have such an eminent orator today amidst us. Warm welcome, ma'am. I extend my hearty welcome to our secretary, principal, vice principal, and all our academic body who are source of strength for all our efforts. Last but not the least, my cordial welcome is due to the students of NIRMALA College and students from various prestigious institutions. Without you, this event wouldn't be possible. Once again, I welcome you for the third session of National Seminar on the title Challenges and Opportunities for Generation Z. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone gathered here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lima. That was very kind of you to give me such an elaborate welcome and introduction. I'm really humbled. I thank you for this opportunity to meet you all today virtually. Good morning to Reverend Sisters, faculty members, and students from across the country. It gives me goosebumps really, since you started off with a prayer, which I was very familiar with when I was a student in Stella Maris. So I was reminiscing about it as you were praying. So thank you for reliving those memories for me. It is a wonderful day, and I was listening to both the eminent speakers who spoke before me, and I was really enthralled by the words and the knowledge and wisdom they were trying to impart. I think I may not stand up to their standards. I hope to do my best, though. So when this topic, challenges and opportunities for Generation Z, was sent to me to speak on, I was mighty excited, honestly, because for the past 32 years, I have been closely associated with this generation due to my profession, of course, and I have raised 3 of my own kids belonging to this generation. So I can bravely say that I have become quite an authority in having an outsider's perspective of how this generation thinks, acts, and reacts. Even to the extent I understand your language too. Your LOL, your G2G, your TTYL, and IMO, they don't scare me. I too use emojis, I watch memes, I follow on Instagram almost as much as you do. Now, I'm saying all this not to, brag about my knowledge of your generation, but I hope that you don't mute my speech and start watching Netflix because trust me, I was once in your shoes too. And I remember when our college arranged these seminars, I would go sit in the last row hoping that my sister principal would not see me. But I don't know about your principal, but mine had eyes at the back of her head. And she would always spot me and make me sit right next to her so I wouldn't be up to any mischief. But looking back, I feel that what I am today is mainly because of all those speeches. I hated then, but I'm able to connect the dots now. So before we get into this topic, we need to understand what this Generation Z actually means. Now, colloquially, we call them Zoomers. They were roughly born between 1995 and 2012. So every generation develops certain characteristics, at least partly in response to the historical events of their time. Now, Generation Z is no exception. Born just before or soon after the 9/11 attacks, awakened to childhood consciousness during the Great Recession of 2008, and now coming of age in a time of the pandemic, you young people have had a remarkably complex journey. I believe almost all of you listening to me today belong to this generation, and therefore I think what I'm going to speak to you will be relevant to you. So please do listen. Research shows the following 10 pertinent information about your generation, some of which may be too much of a generalization, but nevertheless quite true. I think you'll agree with me at the end of it. Number one, they are the true digital natives born into the era of Wi-Fi, Google, and social media. They know how to take a selfie and talk to their grandma via FaceTime, and they played their first game, Peekaboo, on their mom's cell phone. Am I right? Number two, they are very resourceful. They love YouTube and TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp, and use these as a resource to find out how to do anything. They can figure things out for themselves without adult supervision. They are the first generation that literally doesn't need any adult for their knowledge. They can get it online. Independent learners make up this generation. In addition to using YouTube, they love online educational resources such as TED Talks, Masterclass, LinkedIn Learnings, blogs, podcasts, etc. They're all about the pursuit of knowledge. And this is the generation which had it the most comfortable than their preceding ones. On the click of their finger, they can now buy or access anything thanks to artificial intelligence. Anything from cars to karadosas, Amazon, Flipkart, Swiggy, and Zomato have reduced their time and effort spent on needless travel and bargains. Because they are finding their own answers, they're also doers and activists. They jump in and do, which means that they're maybe asking for your forgiveness rather than your permission to do anything. This generation Z has never known a world without social media. They've grown up with Snapchat and Instagram. Facebook is for their parents like us, and a world where it is easier to make connections digitally than in the real world. But those connections lack real substance, of course, which we'll look into later. Now, they are realists and know that they live in a world that has never felt safe. Almost most of this generation does not remember 9/11. They're aware of shootings in schools and terrorist acts, of course, and it's scary. They look for cultures where they feel safe and supported more than ever. They hear the news constantly with the 24-hour news cycles and the social media postings. Many are growing up in homes that were significantly affected by the Great Recession. Fires and floods were all part of their growing up. And Generation Z's attention span is down to 8 seconds. Oh my God, and my speech is going to be 45 minutes long. Good luck to me. They live in a world of continuous updates and they process information faster than other generations thanks to apps like Snapchat and TikTok. Although this generation can be less focused than their millennial counterparts, they are champion multitaskers. I think all of you will agree with me on this. In school, they will create a document on their school computer, do research on their phone or tablet, take notes on a notepad, and then finish it in front of the TV with a laptop while FaceTiming a friend. The scenario looks familiar, isn't it? Number 9, they're altruistic and not afraid of work. About 60% say that they would like to have a job that makes the world a better place. Volunteer work adds meaning to their lives and is sought by 26% of them. Plus 76% are worried about protecting the environment. Oh, wow. This generation is not afraid to work hard for a meaningful cause. They're justice minded, have a heart for a mission, and get out there to make it happen. They volunteer, they invest their time, and they sign up for everything. Generation Zs are independent and they like their own space. They enjoy working alone on a project and they do not appear to be collaborative as the millennials. That is a summary of what research shows about you, Generation Z. Then, if you're so great and unique, then where is the problem? Why are you facing so many challenges in today's world? Let's explore some of the bigger challenges that you are facing as Generation Z. Number 1, of course, is the economic downturn. Now, while the millennials, they grew up in a period of unprecedented economic growth and the seemingly endless prospects and opportunities that came with the internet age, Generation Zs were most likely affected by the times of turmoil, including the terrorist attacks of 9/11, political and civic unrest around the world, the Great Recession of 2008, which is still continuing, and now the pandemic. The fact that many of your family members might have lost their jobs or homes during times of this economic uncertainty has necessitated these Generation Zs to have a greater sense of realism and sharpened survival instincts when considering career paths and employment decisions. So it's definitely really tough for you out there now. The other big facet which comes to my mind is health. Now, unfortunately, the pandemic has made health the foremost challenge for the Generation Z. As devastating as the COVID-19 pandemic has been, scientists have been expecting something like this to happen every other year in the forthcoming years. So, World Health Organization listed several infectious diseases that pose a serious threat to public health, most of which have no vaccines yet and few medicines. So, this combined with other factors like air travel, urbanization, and climate change means that even after this pandemic is under control, the potential for other variants which may crop up is very, very real. And this is something you have to keep in mind to take care of your health in order to face your challenges. The next most important challenge, in my view, is competition. Now, I know the times that we lived in, the process of getting a job was much more easier than what you're facing today. There aren't enough graduate jobs available because of the overwhelming increase in the number of graduates coming out of universities, population growth, which increased the number of job seekers, insurgency of people from other states, which reduced the jobs for local talents, and the growth in healthcare. In fact, the baby boomers, they are still sticking to their jobs like me, in spite of growing older, maybe because of better healthcare. So you, the Generation Z, have to reckon with all this. The sluggish economy, further slowed down by the pandemic, has made the scenario more difficult for you to find suitable jobs. Many are making do with whatever jobs they can find. I have had postgraduate engineers working as kindergarten and primary teachers in my school. My heart is heavy when I see all their training go for a waste just to find some employment. The other factor which comes to mind, which is a major challenge, maybe not now, but in the future, is climatic change. Climate change is one of the greatest challenges of the 21st century. Its effects range from agricultural downturn, decreasing biodiversity, depletion of natural resources, rising sea levels, and increasingly severe heat waves. All these add to the unpredictability of the Earth's continued existence and survival of the humankind in the future, which you, as the Generation Z, have to bear. We are sorry we are handing over such a kind of a problem to you. So this, I think, should be an apology from our generation to yours. The other facet which comes to mind is forced displacement. Following an economic downturn and with dreams of more prosperity, more and more young Indians have no choice but to leave their homes. Dreams of a better life make them throng to countries like the USA, Canada, Australia, and Middle East. In fact, the other day, I heard that almost 46,000 visa interviews have been scheduled at the US Embassy these last 2 months only. 60 to 70% of these migrants are disillusioned because of lack of opportunities suitable to their education in that new country they're going to. And they're faced with complex legal systems, like, for example, the visa issues which have come up, like the H-1B visas no longer extended for Indians, and persistent insecurity regarding residents' rights in the host country they're going to. All these add up to the permanent insecurity which they face when they go abroad, adding to their mental ill health and family well-being being affected by these issues. The horror stories of immigrant labor in the Middle East are reflections of this trend. This migration of our best minds out of the country can also lead to a brain drain and a waste of resources invested in them by our country. So I think migration is going to be a big challenge which will be faced by your generation. The other, because all of you are, at least 99% of you listening to me are women, I think of the social taboos of being a woman in today's world. Though we have come a long way in terms of women empowerment from my own younger days and gender equality in India, we still face a lot of discrimination in the workplace on account of being the weaker sex. The glass door does exist, in some professions at least. Safety of women in the workforce and inside their own homes is still posing serious challenges. Lack of familial support to travel, stay independently, continue to work after marriage or childbirth, and juggling home and work with very less support from spouses are all hurdles that the women in general, the Generation Z, have to overcome. Trust me, when I change into my house clothes, I stop being a principal and I become a wife, mother, and housemaid, and not necessarily in that order. So, with more hours you, the Generation Z, are expected to work, it is definitely going to be a challenge for you to juggle work and home. The other big challenge which I can think of is the increasing individualism. I has become more important than we. The increase in prosperity, education, urbanization, and technology has resulted in another global trend, individualism. Increasing individualism is not without benefits, as it contributes to free speech, self expression, and the fight for equal opportunities. Increasing individualism can also undermine young people's motivation to continue to helping their own family and friends and team members. Young people can experience this as an infringing on their personal freedom if they're called to help others. So many family units are getting broken down, and friction between family members means lack of emotional support, which is going to be a big problem for your generation because you crave for privacy and individual freedom. Now, the next point I would like to point as a challenge are the new evolving technologies. New technologies, particularly information and communication technologies and social media, are developing at a rapid pace. and are increasingly omnipresent. On the one hand, these technologies have a positive effect on social relations as they make it possible to contact others from anywhere and at any time. On the other hand, digital communication has proved to present challenges of its own. Research has shown that digital communication is less comforting than face to face communication. This is in part because there is no physical contact, such as hugging someone. Of course, during pandemic, we're not allowed to hug, but even otherwise, or hold somebody's hand. The warmth is absent in relationships because of this new communication technology. Even if you send someone a hug emoticon, this does not have the same impact as an actual hug. You must agree with me. So, enjoying the benefits of socializing can be a challenge for the Z generation. The other point which comes to mind is the lack of real world experience and skills needed for a job that you are lacking. Now, this is something I have seen it vividly when I was abroad. Many employers abroad, they cite employability as a key trait they desire in graduates. For example, real work experience, organizational skills, communication, digital literacy, professionalism, and interpersonal adaptability. However, in SEEK's Understanding Youth Report of 2019, young candidates reported struggling with gaining relevant work experience. So they could not even get to the interview stage. They are not able to answer the questions the interviewer is asking because they don't have the skills. They're not ready for their employment. In our school, because of this, we do a job shadow week for the students of grades 11 and 12 to enable them to learn organizational skills and have an interwoven curriculum with core subjects and co-curricular subjects like theater, public speaking, design, and technology and physical wellness to get our students ready for the job market. I hope all schools and colleges, if not already, should also follow this. Now, this seminar, I can see that it's exposing you to employability skills that you require to add on to your repertoire when you go out and start looking for jobs. Now, expectations are also very high in your generation. We all have heard stories about graduates who, upon completing university, expect to handpick the job they want. And the ones who have an expectation that they should be the boss rather than working for the boss. Everybody, I feel, in this generation do not like to start from scratch. I'm shocked to hear some freshers who come to sit before me for interviews asking for exorbitant salaries, not aware of the market trends and their lack of experience and adequate skill sets, they don't seem to know about it. So they feel they demand more salaries and more respect. Now, unlimited access to technology and the internet has led the Generation Zs into a mindset of hyper customization also. See, young people today are much less willing to follow a straightforward career path. Like, I start from here, I get promoted, I go up here, and I reach the top. But Generation Zs, they see that they don't have time for all this. They want to reach the top sooner than any of the old millennials ever aspired to. In fact, the Society for Human Resource Management finds that 56% of all Generation Z say that they want to write their own job description. They don't want the employers to write their jobs. Now, this may present a challenge to the organizations that hire them. This is a generation acutely aware of, everything. They grew up hardwired to the internet. They also are a generation that sadly don't have trust and they don't find security in their jobs. So many have been hopping jobs every now and then. They don't stick to jobs because they're not having the job satisfaction which was taken for granted in those days when millennials took up jobs. So Rolling Stone gathers no more, my dear students. Patience should be a virtue for your generation. So quick job changes, you should not look for, but a gradual progression in your career. So this is something I find as a challenge among you young people. Now, other than this, which is not in your control, and I can only blame the world out there, is that you're not ready for the VUCA world. Now, today you live in a VUCA world where rapid and unpredictable change has become the norm, and you're not ready for it. So, what does this VUCA actually mean? Now, we in this VUCA refer to volatile. Now, change is violent and uncontrollable these days. Like what we saw from natural disasters and the pandemic, nobody knew they were coming, and all of a sudden you're just swept by it. And U stands for uncertainty. The future is unpredictable. It is hard to prepare for it for you. Yesterday it was HTML and CC+, and today it is iCloud, Python, artificial intelligence, and tomorrow what? So the U stands for uncertainty for you. The C stands for complex. With so much going on, things can often feel chaotic and confusing, and learning and relearning becomes more complex. A stands for ambiguous. The world out there lacks clarity because it's hard to know what is the root cause of the problems in it. So how are you going to solve them? So VUCA environment can be dangerously disruptive and can make you falter if you're unprepared. So it is vital that you know how to cope and be skilled to face the eventualities. But you can turn this VUCA to your advantage using these 4 steps. We counter volatility with vision. You should have a clear vision for your future. Now, this can give you a clear focus and help you to react quickly to change happening around you so it doesn't overwhelm you. Meet uncertainty with understanding. Ask yourselves these questions. What are my peers doing? What is new in my field? When you're in the know, you'll be able to anticipate threats and take advantage of the new opportunities. React to the complexity with clarity. You should learn that every problem has a solution. So you should use design thinking strategies, creativity, problem solving to counter problems. Fight ambiguity with agility. Stay flexible even during uncertain times. Learn new skills, stimulate debate, and embrace creativity. Now, this is what I would advocate as the 4 strategies that you can counter the challenges that you will be facing in today's world as Generation Z. Now, let us discuss the opportunities available to you. Now, you definitely know, there is a wider and emerging career options, which are their best now. Decades ago, our career options were extremely limited. You finish an art college or an engineering college or a medical college, and you have those few jobs and you just get into them. You don't have specialization, customization. You have had to fix yourself to something, whether you like it or not. But today, technological advancements and innovations have given birth to novel industries and new age business models, and they have replaced the old ones. Hence, we are seeing an array of emerging career options that didn't exist 5 years ago. Who would have thought of Swiggy and Uber jobs a few years ago? Or any of the online apps or at-home services like Urban Club? Yes, this is the new normal. We need to embrace it in order to grow. Also, with the growth in the higher educational institutions, the number of them is growing is just so rapid, it is alarming. And the skill development institutes you have, so near your homes, you also have a huge choice of the courses you can pursue in your future. Specialization and customization of chosen fields and disciplines of study also make your time worth every cent paid for the same. In our days, we had general studies with hardly any such specialization and absolutely no skill development other than what, inter-college or inter-school competitions that we could participate in. So we were not career ready, but you are going to be. Distance learning and the new educational policy have even broadened the horizons of the educational sector in our country too. So now you have endless possibilities for a successful career in many fields, from digital marketing, new age banking and finance, state-of-the-art technology, entrepreneurship, service sector jobs, and health-related disciplines. Occupations in the unorganized sector are also throwing open several opportunities for the Generation Z both in India and abroad. Now let us see a video which will give you a good perspective about this.
COVID-19 is one of the biggest crises of our time. It has impacted every single one of us, shaken our social systems, and disrupted every sector of our economies. The automation of work, combined with a global recession, led workers to lose their jobs at an accelerated pace compared to previous years. And this trend is expected to continue. The ongoing shift in the division of labor between humans, machines, algorithms might displace 85 million jobs worldwide in the next 5 years, while 97 million new roles, ones that are more adapted to this new task distribution, may emerge. By 2025, companies expect to displace roughly 6% of their total workforce. 1 in 2 workers will need reskilling, and those remaining in their current roles will need to update 40% of their skill set to adapt to the changing labor market. There is a way to collectively benefit from these challenging times. Decades of research have shown that the most valuable asset of any economy or company is its human capital. Around the globe, companies are already experiencing a shortage in relevant skills for future roles and are investing in reskilling and upskilling their workforce. By 2025, organizations say they will train over 70% of their employees to ensure they can smoothly transition into the jobs of tomorrow. These include DevOps engineers, artificial intelligence specialists, digital marketing managers, talent acquisition specialists, and customer success specialists. It will take on average between 2 weeks and 5 months for workers to pick up new skills, allowing them to move into these new roles. But data shows they won't need to have the perfect skill set to start transitioning. While 2/3 of employers expect to get a return on investment in employees' reskilling programs within just 1 year, governments will also need to step in to update and fund education and training systems, and to ensure displaced workers have adequate safety nets. With purposeful leadership and collaboration, we can turn this global crisis into a unique opportunity to transition into a future of jobs that is inclusive, fair, and sustainable.
That video was a real self-explanatory one and a good eye-opener, I hope. It comes from the World Economic Forum. And as it says very positively, it is not impossible. Any kind of retraining or reskilling is possible. You should not get stuck to whatever is the career option that you have chosen. I've seen a lot of art students switch to commerce or to science streams later on, or into management streams, and they do excel in them. Just it's a matter of acquiring new skills according to the changes you notice around you. So my advice to you today is to keep an open mind to all possibilities. Update yourselves regularly by reading newspapers and books, watching the news and documentaries. Be ambitious. Don't tie yourselves to the conditions you find yourselves in today. Dream bigger. Be more proactive. Find out what is out there that you can do. Research helps in a big way, believe me. And don't narrow down your career choices. Have a lot of options open. And do not compromise for the sake of others, please. Whatever is your passion, you should pursue it and attain it. Now, there are enough of doctors and engineers, but there is a dearth for innovators, entrepreneurs, teachers, and new wave professionals. Try to go abroad or other Indian states to acquire new skills and exposure. and come back to your own country or state to use them to develop your own countrymen. Another important tip, which I find is lacking in this generation, is inadequate skills in communication, not just the use of language, in terms of like, spoken or written language, in terms of pronunciation or spelling, but also in terms of body language, how you portray good manners, etiquette, decorum, how this will carry a lot of weightage and help you to succeed in your careers of choice. Because people are not looking out to appoint robots for their organizations. They're looking for people who will make a difference, who will bring to the table all the skills that they are looking for, and at the same time, who are warm, hearted people who can communicate with everybody and get along with everybody in a manner in which the organization can grow, as a team. So, if Kamala Harris could become the vice president of the world's most powerful nation, and Indra Nooyi could become the CEO of the biggest MNC, you could do. So believe in yourselves, be proud of who you are. No matter where life takes you, almost 30 years ago, I went abroad to work, equipped with an Indian education just like you. In fact, I was the only skinned person amongst Europeans and Americans working in my school. Now, the situation is much better abroad for Indians, but 3 decades ago, I was ridiculed and laughed at. And the only thing that kept me strong was God's grace, this belief in myself, and the hard work I put in and firm determination to succeed. I never gave up in spite of the hurdles. My husband has a theory that is because I'm stubborn as a mule. Whatever it is, don't give up. So today I feel I'm reaping the reward of heading this elite school with the same kind of infrastructure and pedagogy that I was exposed to abroad because of this, determination that I had. My sincere prayer and hope for you is to achieve even greater laurels. For the challenges are many, undeniable, but the opportunities are many too. So the call of this hour is to rise up to it. There is a famous saying by Longfellow, which I loved even as a student. The heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, when their companions slept, were toiling up in the night. So keep trying, never give up. There are several opportunities out there. In spite of the challenges, you will succeed. So thank you very much for this opportunity. May God bless your journey. If you have any questions, you can ask me now.
Students, if you are having any queries, you can put in the chat box in YouTube channel.
I hope they're all still there, ma'am.
Yes. Marion Getsi, you can take over, ma.
Thank you, ma'am, for encouraging and motivating us. It was an exemplary session. Gratitude is the most important ingredient for living a successful and fulfilled life. Gratitude transforms ordinary into thanksgiving and changes common opportunities into blessing. Here comes Jansi Suresh from 3rd BCom to acknowledge her gratitude.
Jansi. Jansi?
As you said, it's a VUCA world, it's so unpredictable. So it's fine. Thank you all very much for this opportunity. It was a pleasure to speak to you all. Always, it's nice to motivate young minds. Thank you again for this opportunity. May God bless you all.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Once again, ma'am, she's having some technical problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Once again,
No
ma'am.
problem, ma'am.
Kindly wait for 2 minutes, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. No problem.
Good afternoon to everyone gathered here on this online portal. Gratitude is the quality similar to electricity. It must be produced and discharged. Online portal. Gratitude is the quality similar to electricity. It must be produced and discharged and used up in order to benefit everyone. As we have come to the closure of today's event, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks to those who have directly or indirectly rendered their support for the smooth conduct of this seminar on the title Digital Transformation in Education. At the outset, I extend my profound thanks to the Lord Almighty for making this day a remarkable one. I deem it a great pleasure to acknowledge my sincere thanks to our chief guest and resource speaker, Mrs. Fatima Magdalene Majella Philip, who has taken initiative to share her expertise, knowledge, and experience with us on the topic concerning us. Yes, challenges and opportunities of Generation Z despite her busy schedule. We are really very much inspired and enlightened with your exemplary speech, madam. I also thank our secretary, Reverend Sister Dr. Ruby Alankara Mary, for her constant motivation, our beloved principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Helen, for her keen interest in our upliftment, dear Sister Vice Principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Mary Fabiola, the Controller of Examinations, Reverend Sister Dr. Emelda Mary, and the other members of academic body for their constant support in all our endeavors. We will ever remain grateful to you. My heartfelt thanks to our HOD, Mrs. J. Valencia Kamal, faculty members, Dr. A. Elizabeth, Dr. R. Kavita, and Dr. S. Lima Roslin, who always stand by us, guide us, and motivate us in all our works. I would be failing in my duty if I do not acknowledge all the participants from other colleges in the states of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Last but not the least, I thank all my fellow friends from NIRMALA College for Women who took active part in the seminar. Once again, I thank you for your presence and valuable contribution for the seminar. Thank you once again.
I would like to conclude today's program with the quote that every little smile can touch somebody's heart. No one is born happy, but all of us are born with the ability to create happiness. So, be a cause for someone's happiness. Thank you and have a nice day.
It's a
Thank you.
pleasure. God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
students.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Students, kindly fill your attendance and feedback form and get the certificate. It's posted in the chat box.
இல்ல இது அவங்க